Hi everyone, this is Alysia, also known as AVP 60685. Today is Wednesday, June 27th, and I thought I'd do my weekly blog topic for this week. This week I decided I would talk about what it's like to grow up without a pet. Now, many kids, when they grow up, they have pets. They have either a dog, a cat, sometimes they have hamsters, sometimes they have gerbils, sometimes they even have fish. I myself did not grow up with a pet, and that was an interesting experience. Now, here's the thing. Let me backtrack a tiny bit. Both of my parents grew up with pets. My mom grew up with cats and dogs, and she also had a pet pig at one point. And also, my dad had dogs and cats. He also even had a pet of squirrels at one point. That's actually a pretty funny story that I heard a lot when I was growing up about how a mama squirrel had built a nest on top of the chimney where my father, his brothers, and his mom and dad were living. And somehow in the middle of the night, the nest fell down the chimney and the two baby squirrels that the mama squirrel had landed into the family house. And basically, they rescued these two baby squirrels and they gave them the names Tom and Jerry, and they adopted them as pets. So they had those as pets, and the dogs and cats. And they also, my parents had a nanny goat that they took care of for a while. In a way, she was like a pet. But I myself never had dogs or cats. We did have a dog when I was very little. When I was from the time I was born until I was about 3, we had a dog. Her name was Samantha. We called her Sam for short. But here's the thing. Samantha was not a playful dog. She was never played with when she was very young. And so when she got older, she became where she didn't play. She mostly liked licking you. She rarely barked. She was a pug. But really, she wasn't really a pet that I really remember very long. Mostly I remember very little bits of things. I remember when she was, like I said, because you have to remember, I was only 2 or 3 playing with this dog, and she didn't really play. And also, she died when I was 3, so my memories are very vague on what I remember. But like I said, growing up without a pet basically meant I came home to a very empty house sometimes. And sometimes if my mom or dad weren't around, that meant I didn't have anyone to play with. Don't get me wrong, I did play with kids, yes, but most people say, oh, I had a pet, Me, no. And so, because of growing up kind of lonely sometimes, that made it very hard, because I didn't have someone to spend time with in those lonely moments. Also, part of the reason why we didn't have a pet is because my dad was in and out of jobs, and finances were like, I don't know if we have money in the budget for a dog or a cat or whatever. Don't get me wrong, I was a very responsible kid, but it just never worked out. Even now, I still don't have a pet, but that's okay. But I'm hoping that when the opportunity presents for me to have kids, that I can give that to my kids to say, hey, do you want a pet? We can get you a pet. But I do have a couple conditions, like I don't want an exotic pet. I don't want a pet that requires a lot of upkeep either. I mean, like a dog that has to go to the groomers more than me. That's a bit ridiculous. But some people do. Some people say, oh, that's my dog, but me, no. I'd rather say, let it be an animal that my children can play with. If they want to fish, fine, but like I said, that's just my personal input. But like I said, growing up without a pet was kind of hard sometimes, because sometimes you want someone to play with, but you don't. So that was my experience of what it was like to grow up without a pet, knowing that my parents both had pets, but me, myself, no. Do I regret it? No, but it was just definitely a unique experience in my life. Thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye!